Okay, everyone. Hello again, and welcome to the Earth Network Sferic Maps Overview webinar. We're going to get started now. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Anna Porteous, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Earth Networks. In this webinar, we will be giving you an overview of our real-time storm tracking and weather visualization dashboard, Sferic Maps, and its companion mobile app, Sferic Mobile. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few points. This webinar is being recorded. All registrants will get a link to the archived webinar and an email we'll send out after today's session. We are happy to take your questions today. We're going to leave some time at the end of the session to answer your questions. During the webinar, everyone will be on mute, so to minimize the background noise. If you would like to ask a question, please use the question panel on the GoToWebinar control panel. If you have questions after the webinar, please email us at info@earthnetworks.com and we will follow up with you. Now, a little bit about technical issues. If the quality of the webinar really depends on your internet connection. And if you have trouble hearing, please make sure that your volume is turned up on your speaker. You can also listen to the audio by selecting Join by Phone in the audio section of the control panel. And we'll try to help you if you can't hear. Just let us know via the chat or question panel. Today's webinar is going to be presented by Nathan Parker. Nathan is a Sferic Maps and Streamer RT Power user who's worked with Earth Networks for many years. And it's my pleasure now to hand it over to Nathan.
Thanks, Anna, and welcome everyone to our webinar. I'm going to take you on a tour of how I use Sferic Maps on a daily basis, and by the time you're done with this webinar, you should be as proficient in Sferic Maps as I am. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do in Sferic Maps is create a custom view, because in Sferic Maps you have a virtually endless array of customizations and all sorts of configurations that you can use in Sferic Maps, and you're going to want to save snapshots of these configurations that you can instantly bring up at a moment's notice. The way you do that is with custom views. We have a custom views menu right here on the top toolbar on your screen, and clicking on it allows you to create as many custom views as you wish. Let me bring up the menu. There we go. And let me show you a few custom views that I've created. For example, I created a map of temperatures across my state of Arkansas, as well as I created a South Central radar map. And creating these custom views in Sferic Maps is extremely easy. All you need to do is bring up the menu and click on the Add button at the bottom of the menu. That creates the new custom view. Then you will want to name the custom view, and a good naming convention that I use when creating my custom views is I normally take the location, so that could be a country or a region or a state or a county or a city. And then I usually tell what kind of weather data is on the map, maybe temperatures, radar, lightning, etc. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm going to break with the convention and just call this view webinar. And when you're done, you just simply click the checkbox. That saves the custom view. I'm going to clear the weather data layers from this view because we're going to be working in this view during the webinar. When you've done creating a custom view and getting your customizations the way that you want them on the map, you'll want to come up here on the toolbar and click on this Save button, which will allow you to save any custom view configurations that you've made. So let's get started creating and customizing this view. The next thing that you're going to want to do is choose a custom base map, and it's super easy to choose a custom base map in Sferic Maps. All you need to do is bring out the right-hand workspace panel, and at the bottom of the panel, you'll see a button here that says Change. You'll want to click on the Change button in the bottom of the panel, and this allows you to change the custom background that you have in Sferic Maps. And in Sferic Maps, we have a range of custom backgrounds that you can choose from. We've got some that are simple and basic. We've got some that resemble popular mapping sites like Google Maps. We've even got some really fun ones that looks like a treasure map. We've got some really good high resolution ones, like one of my personal favorites, the satellite streets map, because it's very high resolution. And the other great benefit is different custom views can have different custom maps. So if you need to have one view with a simpler map and another view with a more detailed map, you can mix and match those in Sferic Maps. It's super easy to do. For the purposes of this webinar, we're going to stick with the default map. And when you're done, just hit done and close the workspace panel. Once you've chosen the custom-based map that you wish to work from, next you will want to navigate using the map controls. And if you've used any popular mapping sites such as Google Maps or any of those other popular mapping services, you already know how to navigate maps in Sferic Maps. We've got a plus button here in the upper left corner of the screen that allows you to zoom into the map. We have a minus button that allows you to zoom out of the map. When you're zoomed into certain parts of the map, you can click and drag with your mouse to pan around on the map and position the map however you want it. We also have a full screen mode that you can go into in Sferic Maps. Our full screen mode differs from the full screen mode that's built into your web browser, because the full screen mode in your web browser will sometimes still show some of your web browser elements, whereas our full screen mode allows you just to see Sferic Maps itself in its full glory. So if you want to focus in on Sferic Maps and focus on a Sferic weather event, you can use our full screen mode to see that and hide the additional browser elements that would happen if you used your browser's full screen mode. And to leave full screen, all you would do is hit the escape key on your keyboard, and that'll take you back into regular mode. We've also got a really nice distance measuring feature. All you need to do is click on Create a New Measurement, and then you just simply click and drag your mouse, and as you can see while I'm doing that, the measurement is being updated on the left-hand portion of the screen. When you're done, the line will be drawn. It will give me the path distance, and I can click on Finish Measurement to put that measurement right there on the line and see how far in kilometers and miles that the measurement is. And if I'm done taking the measurement, I can simply hit Delete. So it's a great way to see how far that storm complex or lightning is from your location using the distance measuring tool. So once you positioned your map the way that you want it, you will then want to add some map layers to the map to get some map data on there. And that is also super simple to do in Sferic Maps. You pull out on the left-hand portion of the screen the Map Layers panel, and the Map Layers panel offers all sorts of different map layers. First, let me show you how to add map layers to the map, and then we're going to take you through some of these excellent map layers that we have available in Sferic Maps. Adding a map layer is simple. You simply just check the box next to the map layer, and it will add it straight to the map. Now, you may be wondering, most of the map layers in Sferic Maps say contours, but if you look at current observations, they offer both contours and points. And so what's the difference? Well, most of the map layers in Sferic Maps are graphical representations of weather data, and that's what a contour is. It's a graphical picture of the weather data. In this case, I've got radar up, and you can graphically visualize the radar on the map. Since observations can also be taken numerically, the current observations layer shows both contours, which is a graphical gradient of the actual data itself, as well as points, which allows you to see the actual numerical value of the data on the map itself. And so current observations will have both points and contours in terms of data. The rest will be contours. So let me take you through some of the, especially some of the layers that are exclusive to Earth Network's Sferic Maps, as well as some of these other great features. First of all, we've added U.S. state and county boundaries to Sferic Maps. That was a feature that was in our predecessor, Streamer RT. We've actually even made it better than the version that's in Streamer RT, because you can actually come across here and customize the line color from a range of colors, as well as the line thickness as well for both states and counties. So that's a really neat addition that we rolled out back in May to Sferic Maps. We also have current observations available in Sferic Maps, everything from temperature to temperature rate to high temperature to dew point to humidity to wind speed to rain rate to daily rain to pressure. And these temperature observations and these different weather observations They not only use National Weather Service stations, but they also use our exclusive network of Earth Networks weather stations that we've installed in neighborhood locations that are real-time locations. Plus, we have the added benefit that Earth Networks is a global weather network, so these observations will work across the globe, which is excellent as well. In addition to the current observations that we have available, we do also have pollen counts available for people in the US. So if you're an allergy sufferer, you can also look at the pollen counts for the US as well. Moving on to radar and satellite, we do have a radar mosaic that works across the US and Canada. This radar mosaic during the wintertime also differentiates between rain, snow, and freezing precipitation. Our radar mosaic also uses temperature data from the Earth Networks weather network to more accurately fine-tune those areas of freezing precipitation. We also have single site radar on board. So in addition to regular radar, let me find an area that's really storming right now. So Michigan's a good one. With the single site radar, it's slightly different than what you have with the radar with the mosaic, because what you can then do is drill down into a single radar site and look at a more raw picture of the radar itself. The radar mosaic is more contoured and it shows the picture for the entire US. The the single site radar, you can drill into a single site and actually look at the raw radar images itself and get some information there. In addition to the reflectivity map, we also have base velocity, so you can see winds blowing toward and away from radar. You can see storm relative velocity, and we have the ability to display storm tracks, mesocyclones, hail, tornado vortex signatures, everything out of the box. So that's how that works. In addition to the radar and single site radar features that we also have PulseRad on board. And the great thing about PulseRad is PulseRad uses the Earth Networks Total Lightning Network to simulate and give you a radar alternative. So what it does is it takes the lightning intensity from our exclusive Earth Networks Total Lightning Network and puts together a simulated radar alternative to show you where convective weather is. And what's great about the PulseRad is, in addition to being in areas where traditional radar is, PulseRad can go in areas where traditional radar can't reach. So for example, if we're looking out across the water here, we're able to simulate radar using our Earth Networks Total Lightning Network with PulseRad. These are areas that traditional radar just wouldn't be able to, it'd be pretty much impossible for traditional radar to reach. Those you can look at in PulseRad. PulseRad also does work in other countries as well, so it goes beyond the US and Canada. And as you can see, we can look over here in Europe and Africa, and we can see some of the storms that are going on over there. And PulseRad is also beneficial in very mountainous areas where the terrain is difficult to pick up traditional radar images. So in addition to PulseRad, we also have satellite on board. So we have the global satellite, we've got European satellite, North American satellite. We have both infrared and visible on board on our satellites as well. These will be extremely helpful for tropical tracking, which we'll talk about here in a moment. For severe weather, we of course have lightning on board, and the lightning data is coming from our exclusive Earth Networks Total Lightning Network, which is a global lightning network, and it's also the first of its kind to detect both in-cloud and cloud-to-ground lightning. You can go in and look at a flash or a pulse. You can set the lightning threshold. I like to look at it usually for the past 30 minutes. And with the Earth Networks Total Lightning Network, we are able to determine not just the cloud-to-ground lightning that you see, but we're also able to see we're able to determine the strikes you can't see, the in-cloud lightning, which is the precursor to major severe weather events. More organizations are using Earth Networks Total Lightning Network to secure their facilities, and you have access to this power right here in Earth Networks Sferic Maps, which is great. In addition to that, we also have local storm reports on board and some other lightning tracking tools. For winter weather, we've got snow amount forecasts and probability forecasts and freezing rain probability forecasts coming up within the next week or so. We're also going to be adding to this section the ability to look at rain totals and snow totals anywhere from the past, over the past hour to the past 24 hours. So that's going to be coming up as well. Going to be a really handy feature. Another feature coming to the radar section coming up will be animated future radar. So you'll be able to project the radar out a couple of hours in advance. That's not going to be coming up within the next week or so. That one's going to take a little bit longer to come out, but that will be coming. And then, but look for in the next week or so, those rain and snow totals coming to severe weather. In addition to being able to track your severe weather and your winter weather in Sferic Maps, we also have the ability to track tropical weather. You can track storms in the Atlantic and Pacific. And I know there's a hurricane system that's going on, some tropical system, yeah, Tropical Storm Chris. And as you can see here, we're able to track its path through there, and you can look at that. So all of your tracking, hurricane tracking tools and tropical tracking tools are also on board Sferic Maps. So you have your one-stop shop for everything that you need. In addition to those features, we also have alerts, both from the National Weather Service. We have the most recent alerts available, and then you can drill down and choose specific alerts from civil emergency to coastal, tropical, fire, winter, all of those severe alerts and everything. And we also have Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alerts. Now, how Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alerts work is during major severe weather, and again, these come from our Earth Network's total lightning network, when there's a high intensity of total lightning in an area, Earth Networks will generate a dangerous thunderstorm alert. These alerts are generally 50% faster and give you up to 45 minutes ahead of time of some of the National Weather Service alerts, showing you areas that could offer severe thunderstorms, hail, even the potential for tornadoes, etc. And here in Arkansas, we get our share of severe weather. And so when Earth Networks issues a dangerous thunderstorm alert for us, we're able to know ahead of time, even before the Weather Service issues their official alerts, that the conditions are getting quite intense out there for severe weather and that we need to take notice. In addition, these Earth Networks dangerous thunderstorm alerts are available in other countries besides the U.S., which is also an added benefit. And so that's a look at some of the exclusive data that's available in Earth Network's Sferic Maps. Now let me show you how to actually work with some of the user layers. And we've kind of been doing this as we've gone along anyway, but I'll go into it in a little more detail. So I'm going to add some data to the map. I'm going to add radar data, and then I'm going to add current temperatures, current temperature points. And then I'm going to pull out the workspace on the right-hand portion of the screen. And this is the user layers panel that allows you to customize the data that you have access to in Sferic Maps. And again, we've been kind of doing this as we've gone along, but let me show you a few other things. So on certain points that are available and certain data sets available in Sferic Maps, you can customize the data. For example, with the temperature point, if I don't want the polygons around the temperature readings, I can actually turn that off. Or if I do want them on, I can turn it on. And as we saw with lightning and with the some of the city and county drawing map, road lines, those are also customizable as well. In addition, you can show or hide data points in Sferic Maps, whether or not you want to go back here and completely turn them off, which makes this a lot simpler. So if you want to keep the data points active, but you may want to quickly hide one of them, you can do that in Sferic Maps by simply clicking this show button here on the toolbar. Clicking the show button can hide the data point, and then clicking on it again will re-show the data point as well. You can also come through here and you can rearrange the order of the different data points. So for example, if I wanted radar above temperatures, I could click and drag, and then the radar would then be above temperatures. If I want the points back on top, I can click and drag and do that as well. In addition, if you need to show the color key of a map at any time, you simply click on these three dots, and the color key will display in the user layers panel and show you what you're looking at. I'll also show the color key for temperature points so that you can see how that works. And then if you need to display any of these color keys on the actual map itself, simply click the checkbox and that displays the color key right on the map. You can also change the opacity of data in Sferic Maps. You can go anywhere up to 100 and down to 0 or anything in between, so that you can add some contrast between your different layers. Some of the layers in Sferic Maps can also be animated so that you can see the history of this weather event as it moves across an area. In addition to working with user layers, you're also going to want to work with map data itself. Certain data sets in Sferic Maps, you can actually query the data and get additional information on the data points that's available to you in Sferic Maps. So for example, if I wanted to know more about this particular weather station right here in Arkansas, I can click on this temperature point and it brings up the map data panel here in the workspace and allows me to get additional information from this weather station. You can actually select multiple weather stations as well and get data points from multiple stations at once. You can export all of these out as a CSV file. And to drill down into additional information on any of these observations, you can click this button right here to toggle extended information. And then if you even want to go further, you can click on Online Weather Center, which will bring up an Online Weather Center page for the weather station and allow you to get additional information as well. Additionally, we are going to be adding a feature to Sferic Maps coming up so that Online Weather Center customers, Sferic Maps customers can also pull the actual Online Weather Center for their weather station directly in Sferic Maps, so you'll be able to self-access that, the actual link that you would need to put on your website without having to email into support to get it. So that's another neat feature that's coming up. In addition to working with map data, we also have some great drawing tools available to you in Sferic Maps. Let me show you how to use some of those drawing tools now. In the upper right portion of the screen, we have a suite of drawing tools available, anywhere from drawing a polyline to a polygon to a rectangle to a circle to a marker. And these drawing tools are super easy to do and super easy to use. Let me show you how to use one. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let's see, and I'm going to I'm going to hide the temperature layers while I do this so you can see my drawing a little bit better. There we go. If I wanted to make a drawing around, for example, let's say if I wanted to draw a polyline, all I have to do is click on drawing the polyline and then just click and drag my mouse to start drawing. And that draws the line. And then when I'm done, I can just simply click on finish. And then that adds the line onto the map. Then if I wanted to go back and delete the drawing, all I have to do is click on the delete button, click on the line, that deletes the line, and then hit save. And let's see, try that. There we go. And then hit save. So these drawing tools allow you to draw lines and rectangles and all sorts of other elements onto your map and annotate what you're looking at. So in addition to the drawing tools in Sferic Maps, and in addition to all the great data layers that we have available in Sferic Maps, you can also add custom data layers to Sferic Maps as well. So you're not limited to the data layers that we only have built into Sferic Maps. Let me show you how to add some custom data layers to Sferic Maps. All you need to do is bring out the Map Layers panel and then open the Custom Layers section of the Map Layers panel. With custom layers in Sferic Maps, these can be added either as GeoJSON code or they can be added as a shape file. If you're using a GeoJSON file or GeoJSON code, you can go up to 30 megs. For a shape file, it's up to 10 megs. And most people that upload shape files or GeoJSON files use well within those limits, so everything's good to go there. We also do have a GeoJSON code editor built into the custom layers section of Sferic Maps as well. And once you've added a custom layer to Sferic Maps and you've saved it into Sferic Maps, all you need to do is check the box and that enables the layer. We've also, back in May, made some improvements to the way that custom layers are rendered in Sferic Maps, so they load a lot faster and they just run very smoothly and wonderful. And in addition to the custom layers, for example, here's a custom layer that I've added for Maryland airports, which shows all the different airports in Maryland. You can also now customize the user layers in Spirit Maps as well. That's a new feature we added back in May. So you can actually change the color from the default, which was always blue, to any other colors. For example, I can make them red, or I can make it random, however I want. I'll just use the default color for now. You can change line width and fill opacity of those as well. You can also query the data on some of these as well and have it appear in map data in some of these layers as well. So that's how you work with custom layers in Spirit Maps. And custom layers, really the sky's the limit on what you can add in Spirit Maps. And it gives you pretty much unlimited customization that you can work with in Spirit Maps. So once you've created your custom views and you've got them saved just the way you want to, you may at times want to look at multiple custom views in a slideshow, and setting up slideshows are really simple to do. All you need to do is bring up the slideshows button on the main toolbar. Let me highlight it and show you where it's at. There it is. Clicking the button brings up the slideshows creation panel, and then all you need to do is click on Add. You'll want to give your slideshow a name. In this case, I'm going to call my slideshow Webinar. And all of your custom views are available. For example, I'm going to select Arkansas temperatures, and I'm going to select South Central Pulse Rad, and you can select as many custom views as you need to for your slideshows. You can choose a transition anywhere from 10 seconds up to 10 minutes. I'll just put it down to 10 seconds to make it simple. Different slideshows can have different transitions as well, so each slide can have its own. You can also rearrange slideshow elements as well in any order that you please. When you're done, you simply save the slideshow, and then to view your slideshow, hit the Start button, and that will allow you to automatically cycle through all of your custom views automatically. So this is a great way to put these custom views on autopilot and be able to cycle through them automatically. When you're done looking at the slideshow, you just simply go up to the slideshow and hit stop, and that stops the slideshow. We're going to go back to the webinar view. And in addition to working with the slideshows, we also have a great feature on board for collaboration. So for example, as I've been showing my map here and showing my screen, and you've been able to see everything that I've been doing in this webinar, there may be times during severe weather briefings where you need to show Spirit Maps to some of your colleagues that are signed into Spirit Maps, get everyone on the same page and let them see what you're seeing on your screen in Spirit Maps. We have a great feature that's built in. That's a broadcast collaboration feature built right into Spirit Maps, so there's nothing you have to install or configure or anything. It's all built right in. Now, the only limitation with it is that you do have to, it has to be between Spirit Maps users. So if you need to broadcast your maps to a wide audience like we're doing, then you'd need to use webinar technology. But for your colleagues that are also using Spirit Maps to get everyone on the same page, you can use our built-in broadcast feature, and it works excellent. Let me show you how that works now. Up on the top toolbar, there's a button right here for collaboration broadcasting, and all you have to do is click the button to bring up a menu and click on New Broadcast. Once the broadcast is started, there will be a code that will be an alphanumeric code consisting of 4 characters. You simply copy that code and distribute that code to other Spirit Maps users in your organization. They will simply paste that code into Spirit Maps to join the broadcast, and I'll show you how they can do that in a second. And everything that you would do on your screen in Spirit Maps will automatically be mirrored to their screens in Spirit Maps. So the one who initiates the broadcast, they control what's going on in Spirit Maps, and everything that they do, any customizations from custom maps to zooming to panning to any data sets and everything, their screen will be mirrored to everybody else's screen who's joined into the broadcast, getting everyone on the same page during the weather briefing. When you're done with the broadcast, you'll simply click on Cancel Broadcast, and that's all you'll need to do. When the other colleagues need to view the broadcast after you've started one, all they'll need to do is click on View Broadcast, paste in that 4-character code, click on Start, and they'll instantly be able to see your screen. So it's a great way to get everyone on board and go through weather briefings for you and your colleagues. So those are some of the main features that are available in Sferic Maps itself. Let me show you a couple other features that we have in Sferic Maps. We have a full-fledged alerting capability in Sferic Maps as well, in addition to all the other features we have in Sferic Maps. How you would access alerts for Sferic Maps is you'll want to go to your Earth Networks Enterprise profile and then click on this tab that says Alerting. And here it is right there. Once you've clicked on Alerting, you will bring up another tab that gives you 3 sections. And setting up alerts are simple. You do it within 3 sections. One, you manage your locations, and then you have to manage delivery, and then you set up your rules. And let me show you how to work through each of these. First of all, you will want to configure locations, and you can configure as many locations as you need to in Sferic Maps. And creating a new location is simple. All you need to do is click the Add New Location button. Give your location a name. So for example, I could call this Earth Networks headquarters. And you can then enter either an address or you can enter a latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude is a little more precise than an address, but you can use either one. And then when you're done, you can click on Create Location. We've also added a new feature recently of location-based alerting for Sferic mobile customers. If you update to the latest version of the Sferic mobile app for iOS or Android, you can also now set up location-based alerts in Sferic Maps for Sferic mobile. Let me show you how this works. So what you'll do is make sure that you're updated to the latest version of our app, and then you'll open up the menu, tap Settings, and then make sure that it's toggled on that says Allow Alerts Based on My Location. Once that's toggled on, then you'll go back to Sferic Maps Alerting Configurating, and your device will now appear as a location in the Manage Locations panel. If you don't see it, simply hit the refresh button, and then it should pop right on up. That will allow you to manage locations that manage alerts that change based on your device's location. Now, one thing that I am talking with our teams to get clarification on for iOS customers, I'm trying to get clarification whether or not you need to have your iOS location services set to always or while using. When I have mine set to while using and the app is running in the background, location-based alerts are still working, but I am asking our teams to clarify whether or not we need to have that set to always or while using. Maybe a good idea to have it set to always. I've also included a link in the chat box that gives you an article that explains how to set these alerts up as well. Plus, we'll have some additional content coming up, and even I'd like to even get a video up that shows how to set this up, but I'm going to demo it for you as well in today's webinar. So once you have your locations created, you'll then want to click on Manage Delivery and set up how you wish to deliver alerts. Any devices that are automatically signed into Earth Networks Sferic Mobile will appear in the list automatically. If they do not appear in the list, again, you can click on Refresh, and that will allow those devices to show up. And those are the devices that you would send push notification alerts out to. In addition to push notifications, you can send alerts either over email or over text message. All you need to do is format the phone number as an email address. And so let me show you how to set up email alerts as well. You simply click on Add a New Device. You would give the device a device name. So for example, I would just give it my name. And then you would just type in, well, your choose device type would be email, and then you would type in the email address. And for example, I would just type in my Earth Networks email address. And then when you're done, you would simply click on Create Device. And we do have an article on our support portal that shows you how to format phone numbers as email addresses for popular characters. So if you need to send any of those out as a text message, all you need to do is format the phone number as an email address, and you're good to go there. Once you've managed your locations and deliveries, you'll then need to create some rules. Let me show you how to do that. Also very simple to do. You'll simply click on Add New Rule, and there are 3 different types of rules available in Sferic Maps. We have observation alerts, weather service alerts, and lightning alerts. Now, you will need to create a new rule for each alert category. So if you want to use observation alerts, that needs its own rule. Weather service alerts would need its own rule, and lightning alerts would need its own rule. But then in those rules, you can have multiple alerts for each category, but just each alert category needs its own rule. Let me show you how to set these up. So you can just give it a rule name. For example, I could just say lightning at Earth Networks HQ. And then you simply choose your device. And for example, if I wanted them to go to my iPhone, I would choose iPhone. And then if I wanted to choose a location, I can choose the location from the list. If you want the alerts to go with you wherever you go and have location-based alerts, then instead of choosing one of the fixed locations, you would choose one of the mobile devices. So in this case, if I wanted those lightning alerts to go with me wherever I traveled, I would simply select iPhone instead of one of the fixed alerts, and that is how location-based alerts work. You can send a test notification through this control panel, and let me walk you through the alerts really quickly. For observation alerts, we have all sorts of different ones. These come across as weather observations we showed you in Sferic Maps. So we got outdoor temperature, humidity, heat index, dew point, wind chill, rain, pressure, solar, all of our different observations. When you select one, you would basically tell if you want it to be less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, and that you would choose a temperature. So for example, you could do maybe a temperature alerts that are higher than 90 degrees Fahrenheit or less than 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you can just put a radius in there. So if you want a certain distance that it happens. We also have a great article where you can set silence times if there's specific times that you don't want these alerts to fire. In addition to observation alerts, we also have all of the weather service alerts on board, from severe weather to flooding to winter weather to tropical to even non-precipitation alerts. We've got the whole suite of these on here. We even tell you if the 911 system goes down. In addition to the warning alerts, you can also include watches. So for example, if you select the tornado warnings button, then you can also include tornado watches in that as well. We, of course, also have Earth Networks dangerous thunderstorm alerts as well in there. So you can be notified anytime that Earth Networks issues a dangerous thunderstorm alert. Purple polygons we showed you in Sferic Maps. In addition to the weather service alerts, we also have lightning alerts in Sferic Maps. And what's great about the lightning alerts is you choose the distance. So, for example, you could say within 10 miles, and then the radius. The radius is the distance within 10 miles, and then the duration. For example, lightning, have it go every 30 minutes. So a good rule that I use is lightning within 10 miles from me, and then the duration, how often you want the alert to continue resounding. I like to choose like every 30 minutes. And then you can also choose to send an all clear alert. So if no lightning has been in your area for the past 30 minutes, then it will send an all clear as well. And when you're done setting those up, all you need to do is just save the alerts. The last thing that you need to do on alerts to make them active is you do need to come over here and toggle them on active. If you need to at any time, you don't need to delete the alert, but you just need to render it inactive, then you can simply switch the alert off, and that will toggle it inactive and then toggling it back on active. So make sure that you do toggle the alerts on as active. And so that's how you set up custom alerts in Earth Networks Sferic Maps. You can also show your custom locations on Sferic Maps as well. Let me show you that really quickly. If you open up the map layers panel and then come down here and click on your locations, that's going to show you the areas, the fixed locations that you have set up in Sferic Maps. And what's great about these locations is that they allow you to see what areas are under alert or which areas are free of alerts as well. And so those are available as well to view on Sferic Maps. Last thing that I'm going to demo for you today, and then you've pretty much got it all down on what you need to know for Sferic Maps, is our great companion app, Sferic Mobile. Sferic Maps is a powerful product that you can run on any computer and even on any mobile device such as a tablet. But what's also great is that you can take the power of Sferic Maps with you everywhere you go with Sferic Mobile. Our Sferic Mobile app gives you access to alerts as well as everything else we've showed you today. It's available for iOS and Android, and we've got the new update that does allow for location-based alerts, which I demoed for you as well. I've got my iPhone pulled up on the screen, and when you first open Sferic Mobile and you're signed in and your alerts are all configured, any alerts for your area will appear. So, for example, there is lightning within 10 miles from me. I can tap on this, and I can look at the alert on the screen. I can click on more details and I can drill down and look at more details on the alert. I've also got a heat advisory going on and I can look at that as well. You can filter alerts by the alerts themselves or by location. Then you can also open the menu and configure some additional things right here in Sferic Mobile. So in addition to viewing alerts, you can also manage alerts. So everything that I showed you a moment ago on how you would create alerts with creating locations and delivery and rules, you can actually set that up right here in the Sferic Mobile app, and it's all completely mobile optimized. And all the power that I showed you a moment ago is right here in the palm of your hand, and you can set up those alert rules anywhere you're at. In addition, you can manage your Earth Network's enterprise profile account right here in Sferic Mobile as well, which is an excellent feature as well. So you have that full power and capability right here in your pocket. Of course, the Settings app allows you to make some configurations as well as enable those new location-based alerts. And my favorite feature is Sferic Maps itself. We have a mobile-optimized version of Sferic Maps that gives you all of the power of Sferic Maps in your pocket that you can take with you wherever you go. And so everything that I demoed for you in Sferic Maps on the computer, you have it all here. You've got all the same map controls, all the same toolbar buttons. You can join in on a collaboration. You can view a slideshow. You can create and view custom views in Sferic Maps in our Sferic Mobile app. You can bring up map layers. Everything that we've done in the webinar is available to you on the go, in your pocket, wherever you go. I absolutely love this functionality because if I'm out somewhere and if I need to bring up a radar map or look at lightning or anything on the go, I can take the power of Sferic Maps wherever I go with Sferic Mobile. It's one of my favorite features of Sferic Maps and one of our most groundbreaking features that we've added. Having the ability to take that power with you wherever you go. Can you all still hear me okay? Okay, good. We had a small glitch, but we're back. Okay, so that gives you an overview of all of the features of Sferic Maps and our companion app, Sferic Mobile. Really excited about everything that I've showed you today. I'm going to turn things over to Anna now for any questions that come in about Sferic Maps and Sferic Mobile. I know we went through some of this kind of fast, so if there's anything that I need to re-demo or re-show, we can do that. And I am ready now to take any questions you have with regard to Sferic Maps and Sferic Mobile.
Thanks a lot, Nathan, for that. That was really, really helpful. We do have one. We have one question so far, and I think it's about the toolbar that we're seeing at the top of your screen. But I think that's something that may not be related to Sferic Maps. Can you talk about that toolbar?
Yeah, that toolbar is not a Sferic Maps toolbar. I have a screen annotation program called Ink2Go that I use for these webinars. And that's what I use. It's just a nice little thing that I can use to draw on my screen and annotate stuff on my screen. That's a Mac app that I use during these webinars to kind of point out some stuff, makes it easier for you to see some elements. So that's not a Sferic Maps toolbar. You won't see that on yours. It's just a nice little screen annotation thing I use for webinars.
Okay. So I do want to encourage everyone to go ahead and enter any questions that you have, because this is a good time for us. We have 15 minutes left to be able to answer any specific questions you might have about how to do certain tasks, or to go back over the control panel, the different workspaces. If you do have a question, just enter it into the questions panel, and we'll be sure to answer it for you live right here and show you how to do it. So I'm just going to wait another minute or two to see if anyone does have any questions.
Yeah, great time to have questions. If you got any questions, I know we went fast on some of this, so if I need to re-demo some things, or if I wasn't clear on something, let me know. It's a great time to ask the expert and get it live.
We do have another question about historical storms, tropical storms. Is that available, Nathan?
Let's see. Yes, it is. So Atlantic and Pacific historical storms are available in the tropical panel as well. I'll highlight this so you can see it. The tropical panel does have the ability not only for active storms, but for historical storms as well. So yes, that is available in Sferic Maps.
The next question we have is about the global coverage of this. I guess we didn't really see, but can we see the lightning data worldwide?
Sure, absolutely, yeah, and it is global. We do have a global lightning network at Earth Networks. So let me go in and let me hit lightning, and so that you can really see the power of it. Let me go the past 30 minutes, and then let me zoom out. And a big chunk of the data sets in Sferic Maps are global data sets. There are some data sets that are only specific to the US and Canada. I know the radar itself is US and Canada only. The PulseRad is available in other countries. And I think pollen is another data set that's US only. So there's a few that are US only, and then there are those couple the rain and snow accumulation totals. I mean, yeah, the rain and snow accumulations that are coming next week, I think, are also continental US only. But all of the observation alerts except for pollen, those are global. Lightning is global. DTAs are global. PulseRad, I think, is global. So there's quite a bit of global stuff in Earth Networks, Sferic Maps as well, because we are a global weather company.
Okay, the next question is that somebody's referencing WeatherBug that uses a weather data point near my location, but your system does not. Is there a way to add more data points or custom points?
I mean, WeatherBug uses Earth Networks data. I mean, I know they're a separate company from us now, and WeatherBug does use the Earth Networks data, and to my knowledge, they're only using the same data that we're using. So I don't know how they would be using a data point that we're not using. There's not a way to bring in, to my knowledge, actual data points in addition to what's in Sferic Maps. We are going to be adding some additional data points, though, coming up into Sferic Maps. We're going to be adding the NOAA MADIS points coming up, which pulls a lot of the data in from NWS CWAP and all of that. So it's possible that WeatherBug's got early access to that or something, and they have switched that on somehow. I know that they were working something on that front. That is coming to Sferic Maps, where you will be able to see all the data points from NOAA MADIS and CWAP, in addition to the National Weather Service stations and all of our Earth Network stations. But to my knowledge, WeatherBug is a Earth Networks data customer and uses the same data we use.
Okay, well, we don't have any more questions. I do want to encourage everyone to, feel free to write in your questions or email us at info@earthnetworks.com. Also, if you are not a Sferic Maps user yet, you can certainly email us at info@earthnetworks.com, and we'll get you set up with a free trial if you're not a customer yet. Or if you need more resources, you are a customer, you don't feel like this covered the material well enough for you, we'll be happy to help you as well. So with that, I'll just say thank you, Nathan, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and enjoy.
And one last thing I will mention, I did put a couple links into the chat box as well that takes people to our support portal. It's got some really good tutorials on there of Sferic Maps itself, as well as those location-based alerts. We've got a link in the chat box that specifically covers that. So feel free to check those links as well before you leave the webinar.
And I'll include those when I send out the recording of this webinar to all of the attendees and registrants. So don't worry if you don't catch them here. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Glad to be here. See y'all.